Boy. So I saw that there's this challenge called the 100,000 Mask Challenge from an MKP brother, Shanti Branch, and I first saw this activity that he did in a documentary called The Mask We Live In, and I was fascinated by this activity that he did with this piece of paper and a mask, and how it got people to just open up. And men, adolescent boys specifically. But when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is a great activity. And I did a YouTube on it a while ago, and he presented this challenge recently, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this instead of doing a drawing. I was like, I'm going to do this mask. So I was like, I figured I'd just create something. And when I did the activity, it brought up some really just like, whew, man, deep things. So the whole context behind the whole thing is I'm going to share the mask that I live in, right? So what I present to people, my perception is, and then I'm going to share what's underneath it, what I don't show, what I don't usually show to people. And then I'm going to just share this activity that I did that just like just really was a rim rocker. So first off, let me just start off with the mask that I live in, right? So I'm ready. I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna go away for a second. I'm gonna show you the mask that I feel like that I live in. Hold on. So this is the mask. Perception is I have it all together like a puzzle, bunch of pieces. And I always have a smile on my face, like I'm make the best out of every situation. Another part of it is my projections of what I've been conditioned to be as a black man, or as a man in a society, as a heterosexual man, as a black man, professional, entrepreneur, health professional, all those pieces that I put together, all the smile. Part of it when I did it, and I looked at it, I was like, wow, it almost looks like a sambo, like the projections and pieces of what we've been conditioned to say, what we're supposed to be, and how we're supposed to act, and how we're perceived. Yeah, that was the one that hit home. So that's the mask that I live in, that I have pieces of all these pieces that I put together that I present in a happy, positive way. Now what's underneath it was what really rocked me. So now what was underneath it was anger and sadness. Anger and sadness underneath all that. Anger for so many reasons, and I had to really dive deep and look into it. I was like, oh my God. Because just like how I'm breathing now, it's just like an uppercut right in the gut, like, pow! I was like, huh. Wow. The anger, relationship anger from past divorce, past relationship, past mistakes, perceived mistakes, finances, anger with being irresponsible, life, anger with my internal oppression, anger with the racism in society that's unconscious, sexism that's unconscious, and anger on my part in it. And man, I can go on and on and on. and the sadness that, like, no matter how many kids I have, how many relationships I have, I may end up and die alone. So now that I've had an opportunity to really digest and see that, now what do I do with it? And this is a thing that happens with, in my judgment, with, well, I'm going to speak for myself. What's happened with me, where I have to find a way to release it, is one thing to acknowledge these things, but it's a whole other thing to be able to disperse it. So as I'm creating this like labs downstairs, I'm like, I have this corner where I says like set up as like the smash experience, where I was like, I'm gonna transfer whatever anger, sadness that is, I'm gonna transfer into something. I'm gonna smash that bad boy to smithereens. And I was actually, I recorded it and I was gonna share it, but I was like, nah, man, cause I gotta still process everything that was going on, and that junk was a powerful emotional experience, and it really got me to release. I was like, holy cow, it was nuts. I felt a surge of energy, and I was like passed out. I was like, woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like, dang, what the heck happened? The reason I share this is because underneath these masks that we as men, or me as a man, that I wear, there's there's things that are underneath it that I may perceive, or especially with anger, like I don't want to go disrupt and smash it like I would like to, because that's going to be perceived different a certain way in society, and it's like that's not going to really help my cause, but at the same time I need to express myself. So what tends to happen is now I start to bubble up, and then it's like it's going to come out some sideways way. And I, in my judgment, for the male population, man, I'm speaking to you, is when we bottle up these emotions, whether it's anger, specifically anger, because we're not really taught how to deal with this in a way that's like not about just smashing and violence. It could be, we could be able to use a mindful in science, or mindful in mind and matter way of shifting or transmuting that into something to be able to disperse and release it, to move past it, evolve. So I'm calling all the men. I'm hosting this party, this men's circle on Friday called Drop the Mask, where we're gonna do some activities around masks and mask wearing, because like it's happening all around us, and in my judgment, it's killing a lot of men. It's creating a lot of violence, and it's manifesting in some really, really some banged up ways. So, if this resonated with you, and you're a man, you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm something about these feeling that, just reach out and email to info@newwellnessguide.com, and in the subject line, just write "Let's Connect." That's it. Email info@newwellnessguide.com. Subject line, "Let's Connect." And whatever's the next steps, whatever the next step. But figure out a way, when you drop the mask and you deal with the stuff that's underneath it, now we can move into it and past it. It doesn't have to hold us anymore. So be well, everybody, and to all, cheers, namaste.